Welcome to r/relationships, where OP has to face the hard reality that, yeah, he's probably cheating on you. This subreddit is a bit different from the subreddits that I usually cover, so I'm very curious if you guys want to see more of these videos or if you want me to stick to my normal content. Let me know down in the comments. Our next post is from Throw It All Away. I'm a 27-year-old female, and the friends of my fiance, a 27-year-old male, have tried to convince him to leave me due to my disability. I'm finding all of this very overwhelming, so I will try to keep it short. They've been our shared friendship group since we got together 8 years ago. I've had a disability for about 3 years. I recently found out 3 members have tried to convince my fiancé to leave me on multiple occasions, purely due to my disability. They basically said they don't see the point of staying with a disabled person and they want him to be happy. He assured them each time he is happy and it is his choice to stay with me. They are all acting as though it is normal that they would try to convince him to leave and that I'm overreacting by being upset. They've also stated they wanted what was best for both of us, which I think was pretty obviously not true. I'm just trying to get some clarity here because I'm feeling very confused and worthless. I have myself given my fiancé the option of leaving many times and said I wouldn't blame him, but he always said he wanted to stay. Is their behavior normal? Is it okay for me to be upset? Well, OP, their behavior is perfectly normal if you're in r/choosing beggars or r/entitled people. But for the rest of us who don't live in crazy land, those people are seriously messed up. The way I look at it is if a person thinks that you aren't deserving of love, then they aren't deserving of being your friend. The only 2 opinions you should consider in whether or not you should be with your fiance is your opinion and your fiance's opinion. Honestly, everyone else could just go F themselves. Our next post is from Grootius. My wife and I have been together for 5 years, married for 4. She had a bad marriage before me and had a child. I had no problem stepping up to the plate to help her raise her child. The father wants nothing to do with my wife or his kid. To the point, I had 2 friends that I've had since I was 16. They were both female and I had dated one of them for 4 years, but we split up agreeing that we made better friends than an actual couple. Which never happens in real life, apparently. She's always been my go-to for advice, and I made our friendship 100% transparent for my wife when we first met and never hid anything. Out of habit, my friend and I still said we loved each other, but more of a platonic love. We both loved our current partners and never wanted anything between each other. However, after a few years, this took a toll on my wife and she asked me to stop telling her that I loved her. So I explained this to my friend and she said she understood and would have no problems doing so. Another month or so, I still have 100% transparency with my wife as to make her feel comfortable. I got deployed and my friend had just had her baby and asked me if I wanted to FaceTime to see her. I said yes, naturally happy for her and her husband. After a nice chat and meeting her new son, I got a call from my wife a few days later asking if I had talked to her in FaceTime. I told her that I had and why, also telling her what we had discussed. My wife then didn't talk to me the rest of my deployment. When I got home, I explained that I was sorry it hurt her feelings and wanted to make things better. She told me to never talk to her again. I tried to explain that it was just a friendship and that neither of us wanted a relationship. My wife took it upon herself to call her and tell her that if she didn't stop talking to me forever, that she would tell my friend's husband that we were having an affair. She did not tell me any of this. I quickly noticed she had blocked me on everything, including my number. I had no idea what happened, so I confronted my wife and she told me that she was certain I was cheating on her and that my friend and I were having an affair. She then told me that she had called her and only asked her to not talk to me anymore. I was slightly upset, but stood by her decision and held no grudge. I feel like this event led to the breakdown of everything. She started to have no trust in anything I did, constantly going through my phone, and she would constantly lock her phone or lock herself in the bathroom talking to someone on the phone. She started blaming her job for her unhappiness. I told her that I could pull extra hours at work if she wanted to quit to find a new one. She quickly quit her job and made no attempt to find work again. I was enlisted at the time. She said she hated that I was gone all the time, so I offered to go reserves to be with her more. She said that would fix it, so I got a civilian job that paid decent, but we had to move. The job is stressful, and I'm not very fond of being a civilian. She has now come to the conclusion that I need to get out of the military and quit my civilian job, and we need to move again, and that's the only way she'll be happy. I feel like I've given up everything for her to be happy. I'm trying to show her the logic that there is no way for us to survive if neither of us work. I love my wife and I don't want a divorce, but I feel like she will never be happy and I'm not sure how to fix it. She blames everything on me and says that I'd be happier with someone else or says she's leaving again. I'm currently deployed again, and the last week I was home, she wouldn't talk to me or spend time with me and our daughter. She would lock herself in the bedroom all day. Then, at night, she would call me names and say I don't care about her and never spend time with her. I'm very confused because I'm not the best with emotions. I'm a logical man and I see no logical answer here. Any thoughts or advice would be great. Thank you. OP, when a significant other starts acting really weird and starts accusing you of cheating, that itself is a red flag for cheating. If I had to guess, I would say she probably stepped out on you while you were deployed, and either her guilt is eating her up or she's realized that she's totally miserable and is looking for escapes any way she can find them. In any event, you are absolutely correct that quitting and moving will not help anything. She kind of sounds like a spoiled brat who's always making demands and is never satisfied. She kind of seems like the type of person who literally doesn't know how to be happy. What do you guys think? Is she cheating? Let me know down in the comments. Our next post is from iamastarsfish. Every year, my 21-year-old boyfriend and I, a 22-year-old female, go on a break because he doesn't know what he wants. My boyfriend and I have been together 5 years. We've always been great together and there's no one else in the world I'd rather be with. We make each other laugh, we like the same things, we have our own hobbies so we don't drive each other crazy, and we've been through so much as a couple. I'm in graduate school a state away from him, about a 4-hour drive. We went into long distance fairly easily, so it blindsided me when he suddenly told me that he didn't know if our relationship is what he wants. He's always struggled with the fear of commitment, something I've tried to support him through by trying not to pressure him into moving forward. The problem is that every year for the last 3 years, he's gone through a struggle with wanting to be with me. He wants to take a break from our relationship and be separate for a while, which I've agreed to the last 2 years. Every year so far, he's come back to me saying he was being stupid and that he regrets ever being on a break. We talk things through and move forward. I thought after last year we'd be done with it, but today he gave me the same speech he's always given about wanting a break and wanting space. I put us on break this time because I didn't want to beg him to stay with me. I'm blindsided by this whole thing, and I'm so confused about where it comes from. We're so great for 90% of the year, and then the end of March comes around and he freaks out and wants to break up with me. He says he loves me and always will, but doesn't know what he wants. If he comes back again, do I take him back? I don't know what to do. Alright viewers, what do you think is going on with this story? You better decide quickly because OP posted an update. It's been about 4 months since my first post and I thought I'd post an update. Looking back on this post, I can't believe what a difference 4 months has made. After posting it, I read my own words and realized that the relationship was over. I was making excuses for him and justifying staying miserable in the relationship because I just loved him so much. We had a talk when I visited my hometown and broke up. We both were emotional, but knew that it was for the best. And I was content thinking we were going to spend time being single and discovering who we are as individuals after being so close for so long. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. I found out he had been cheating for at least a couple of months before telling me he wanted another break. He began officially dating the new girl about 3 days after we broke up, and he moved in with her after a couple months of dating. He has always been super resistant to commitments before, so that came as a shock. My self-esteem took a huge hit. Now things are different. I discover new things about myself every day. I spend time with my friends who make me feel loved and important, and I'm truly happy for the first time in a long time. At first, I wanted to start dating again, and I told myself I was ready, but the truth is that there's so much I don't know about myself yet, and I want to get to know me before I focus on another relationship. Anyway, thank you to the people who commented and let me know that something was going on. As obvious as it was to them, I was completely blindsided. I'm just so grateful to be out of the situation, and I'm excited for what's ahead. As someone who has read hundreds, possibly even thousands of r/relationship posts, there's one universal truth that is almost always true 99% of the time. If your gut is telling you that something's wrong, it's usually because something's wrong. OP's gut was telling her that something was seriously off about the situation, but she was just too close to the problem to realize what was wrong. So the next time your gut is sending off alarms, listen to those alarms. Our next post is from bustedhimnowwhat. My fiance and I have been together a year and a half. We moved in with one another a few months ago. Lately, he has been a bit distant. I've been cheated on in the past and have been really insecure with this change in behavior. He has assured me he is just stressed about work and because his car broke down a couple weeks ago and he hasn't gotten a replacement yet. I couldn't let the nagging feeling go, so I did a little investigating. I didn't snoop in his phone or personal accounts, but I made a fake profile on a popular dating site and found him there. He was last online July 1st. And for context, OP made this post in the second half of July. I don't know what to do. How do I confront him? What do I say? Can our relationship be saved? Do I even want to save it? I feel like I am a wreck right now. And then OP posted a very unexpected update. I posted a few days ago because I found my fiance on an online dating site. I took Reddit's advice and catfished him. A few hours after I set the bait, I found that his profile had been deleted. When he came home from work, I showed him the screenshot and asked him what was up. Long story short, he was hanging out with his coworker, and the coworker was frustrated with figuring out how to navigate the same dating site. My fiance signed into his old account, opened in 2013, to try to help his friend figure it out. Apparently, a lot had changed on this particular site, and he realized that his knowledge on the site was too out of date, so he logged out and that was it. A few days later, he saw in his email that he had gotten a message from a woman on the site, and he then deleted his account. He obviously couldn't show me his dating site account, but he did volunteer to show me his email account with all the alerts from the site. The only woman that had messaged him recently was clearly my fake account. He also realized when we were looking through his email that he had an unused old profile on another dating site. He signed in and deleted that one in front of me. I fessed up about catfishing him. He wasn't upset at all. Said he understood completely considering my history. He was more upset with himself for not realizing that his behavior would make me so insecure. I apologize for not trusting him in catfishing. He apologized for being so distant lately and not deleting his profiles ages ago. He offered an open phone, social media, email policy between us in case we ever stumble upon another trust but verify type of situation. Man, after reading all these choosing beggars and entitled parents posts, it's kind of refreshing to see someone handle a conflict like relatively sane adults. I mean, the catfishing was a little excessive and elaborate, but I'm just glad that for once we have a happy ending. Our next post is from TheSweatyCheese. Gross. My fiance and I are getting married over the summer. We've been together 4 years. We decided on a very informal courthouse wedding, and the two of us decided to elope and honeymoon internationally after. Well, this was heartbreaking to our parents, and my mom threw a fit and tried to bargain and bully her way into getting her way. I gathered all of my strength from the spirit of past r/relationship posts and put my foot down. I had a change of heart a few months later though. I have a good relationship with my mother-in-law and I wanted her to be able to see us get married. Fiance and I decided to invite the parents for the weekend of our courthouse wedding. We planned some photos and simple dinner and that's it. My mom, of course, took this as an invitation to start planning a wedding for us with a fancy cake and extravagant dinner. I just let her make those plans and not acknowledge them, instead reiterating my own. It seems to be working so far, except when it comes to the dress. Backstory: my mom has always used money as a tool for emotional manipulation. Even when I was a child, she would spend her last dollars on something and bring it up forever. She would talk about how she was poor and didn't have any clothes without holes in them because of me and my medical bills or things that I wanted. She would tell people on the street that she couldn't afford a haircut or dental work because of me. I separated myself from my parents financially as soon as I got to college and have a lot of debt as a result. I really couldn't handle the constant guilt trips, even if it meant working full-time my freshman year. I stopped asking for anything at a young age, and I still have a huge aversion to asking anyone for anything or receiving gifts. A few years ago, my parents took a page from Wesley Snipes' book and are now in a pretty bad financial situation. This makes my mom even more of a martyr when she sends me unsolicited gifts. The first time I told her about the wedding, she said, "I don't have any money, but the dress is mine," meaning she would buy it for me. She talked up the experience and is clearly looking forward to shopping with me. I don't mind the shopping aspect, but I don't want her to make this all about the sacrifice she made for my special day. I will literally have to hear about this for the rest of her life. "Remember when I spent my last few pennies on your dress? I had to eat rice for a month afterward and I couldn't afford my medication, but you looked so lovely." I don't want to think about how much of a freaking narcissist my mom is every time I look at my wedding photos. I started doing some preliminary online shopping and found a sample dress on sale for $100, down from $500. I ordered it and it's arriving today. Assuming it fits and looks okay, this is the one. Here's the problem. My mom is coming to visit for the first time in a year and dress shopping is at the top of her list. I'm so stressed out about what to say. I know I need to tell her that I bought a dress already, but I really just want to lie or avoid this whole situation. Anyone who's dealt with a narcissist knows how she's going to turn this around on me so I'm the butthole, or blow this whole thing out of proportion. I never really developed a healthy relationship or mechanisms to deal with her, and I just avoid situations like these to keep peace. My best idea so far was to tell her I found the dress at Goodwill. What's wrong with me? I know I need to tell her, but what's the best way to approach this with the least amount of explosion? How do I stand up for myself without being a total dick? I believe in speaking my mind and doing what you want. I just don't want to deal with this fallout. I think I might actually sympathize with the mother in this situation. I mean, when OP was a child, why didn't she just go get a job like a responsible adult and stop demanding that her poor mom buy her unnecessary things like food and shelter? That was r/relationships, and let me know down in the comments if you want to see more of this type of video.